Hello everyone, I'm back, and we are going to review another Combat Patrol set, the Combat Patrol Space Wolves box set. This set is a rather interesting one. Aesthetic-wise, probably one of the fan favorites. Lore-wise, you either love them or you hate them, but the models are kinda neat. But without any further ado, let's check on the box set. This box set costs $160 or 125 euros or 95 pounds. This box set contains 1 Primaris Lieutenant, 10 Intercessors that you can build into 1 10-man squad or 2 5-man squad, an Invictor tactical warsuit. Other than that, it contains a Hounds of Morkai Space Wolf unit. But if you are planning to play other than Space Wolves, you can also build these guys to Primaris Reavers. And the last thing, it contains 2 Space Wolves upgrade sprues. Well, it's looking nice, but it doesn't contain anything that is really necessary. But with it, you are able to upgrade your Intercessor Sergeants with a chainsword melee weapon. Also, the bareheaded option is really nice. Points wise, this whole set is around 485 points, plus upgrades if you purchase any. Okay, let's check on the units. Primaris Lieutenant, 1 model for 75 points. In this box set, your Primaris Lieutenant comes with a special loadout, Mastercrafted Bolt Rifle and Mastercrafted Power Weapon. Let's check out what this guy can do. The Primaris Lieutenant is a support character. He has some fight in him and an okay-ish shooting, although he is a better support than a fighter, but still a great hero nonetheless. First of all, let's check out his shooting weapon. He has a bolt pistol, which has a range of 12. 1 shot, hitting on a 2+, with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. Nothing interesting, but it's nice to have. With the pistol, you can shoot at your enemy, even if you are in melee. His other weapon, Mastercrafted Bolt Rifle. This weapon has a range of 24, with 2 shots, hitting on a 2+, with the strength of 4, 1 points of armor penetration, and damage 2. Basically, he's hitting a little bit better than your average guy, and his weapon is Mastercrafted, so deals 2 damage, not just 1. It's a really nice upgrade. You can one-shot Marines, or even Orc Nobs, if you are lucky. Okay, let's check out his melee weapon. This weapon is really great in my opinion. Mastercrafted Power Weapon. It has 5 attacks, hitting on a 2+, with the strength of 5, 2 points of armor penetration, and damage 2. Why this weapon is great? The strength of 5 is usually great. You can deal with almost any and every infantry. Maybe you can tear out chunks from elites or even characters. With the 2 points of armor penetration, you have a really fair chance to cause damage even if your target is well armored. And the damage 2 is just great to take out Chaos Space Marines, Plague Marines, Orcs, or anything that is smaller than a Terminator or an Aggressor. Well, these are your basic options. Other than this, you are able to have a Plasma Pistol, a Power Fist, or a regular close combat weapon, which is strictly worse than your Mastercrafted Power Weapon, so don't even think about that one. Although, if you can obtain a Power Fist, well then this guy becomes much more deadlier. With the Power Fist, you only have 4 attacks, still hitting on a 2+, but your strength becomes 8, so you have a fair chance to damage lighter vehicles or really tough opponents. Other than that, it's still 2 points of armor penetration, and damage 2. But I usually prefer the one with the Mastercrafted Bolt Rifle, Bolt Pistol, and Mastercrafted Power Weapon. This is a good generalist profile. We are not going to talk about the other options, because in this box set you can't find any of those. Okay, but let's check out his supporting abilities. And oh boy, let me tell you that these are great. First one, Tactical Precision. While this model is leading a unit, the unit have the Lethal Hits ability. So if you roll a hit roll of 6+, then you automatically wound the target, so you don't have to roll a wound roll, which is especially great against really high toughness opponents. You roll a hit roll of 6, you just wounded that Titan or that big tank, and the Lieutenant is here to tank. Okay, sorry, that was horrible. And his other ability, Target Priority. This model's unit is eligible to shoot and declare charge even in the turn which they fell back. This one is great, because if you are eligible to shoot, you are able to complete mission objectives. Or just fall back, shoot and charge another target. So it opens up endless possibilities. And possibilities win you games. Although, the Lieutenant is really great. He can deal damage and he can support well. The one thing that he is not that good at is taking damage. So be careful and try to protect him, if you want your unit to be combat effective much longer. I think he is a really great unit, although a little bit fragile, so keep that in mind and you will be good. Let's go to the next one, Intercessor Squad. This 10 model will cost you 170 points. You can build 1 10-man squad or 2 5-man squad. Usually you want to go for the 5-man squads, because you want to use their abilities, although a 10-man squad can work just fine. And if you are not selling the upgrade sprue, then I would recommend you to give the leaders a chainsword. These guys are your basic troops. So they are reliable and do their job, but not very interesting. But let's check out what they can do. You have 5 guys in the squad. Each guy has 2 wounds, a toughness 4, and a 3+ armor save. Everyone is equipped with a bolt rifle, close combat weapon, and a bolt pistol. The bolt pistol is a pistol with a range of 12, one shot, hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. While the bolt rifle is a rifle which has the assault and the heavy keyword. So, if you didn't move, you add +1 to your hit rolls, thanks to the heavy. But if you moved and you advanced, you can still shoot, thanks to your assault keyword. This weapon has a range of 24. It has 2 shots, hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 4, 1 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. This weapon is ideal to deal with infantry units. Other than that, for every 5 models, you are able to add an Astartes grenade launcher, which is a weapon with 2 profiles. Before you shoot, you have to choose one. One of them is frag and the other one is crack. The frag is a blast, which is best used against hordes. The blast keyword means for every 5 models in that unit, you can add 1 to the number of attacks that you make with this weapon. This weapon also has a range of 24. It has D3 attacks, +1 for each 5 models in the enemy unit, so it can be a lot. This weapon is hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. While your other option is the crack grenade, which has a range of 24. It has only 1 shot and hitting on a 3+, but it has a strength 9, 2 points of armor penetration, and damage D3. So this one is ideal to kill elites or to chip off a few wounds from vehicles. This weapon is free, so take it every time that you can. You can replace the Sergeant's bolt rifle with an Astartes chainsword, or a power weapon, or a hand flamer, or with a plasma pistol. But if you listen to me, do not replace the Sergeant's main weapon. Instead, you can replace the Sergeant's close combat weapon with a much better melee weapon. First of all, let's check on the close combat weapon. Every model in this unit has a close combat weapon, which is basically a knife. It has 3 attacks per model, hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. Okay, so you can replace this weapon with a much better weapon, as I said. Let's check on the other weapons. Astartes chainsword. This weapon has 5 attacks, the most number of attacks any melee weapons from this unit, hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 4, 1 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. This one is great. A lot of attacks, and it even has an armor penetration. Your other options. Power weapon. This weapon has 4 attacks, so it's still a nice number of attacks. Hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 5, 2 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. This is good, because the strength of 5 is allowing you to damage average infantry units much easier, and that 2 points of armor penetration can come in handy against more armored units. So this one is also nice. We have 2 other options. One of them is Power Fist. This one has 3 attacks, hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 8, 2 points of armor penetration, and damage 2. The strength of 8 is really nice, because this is around the threshold where you can deal easily with Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, or even light vehicles. And let's check on our last option, Thunderhammer. This weapon has 3 attacks, but it's only hitting on a 4+, with a strength of 8, 2 points of armor penetration, and damage 2. But this one has an ability called Devastating Wounds. Whenever you roll wound roll, and that wound roll is a 6, you deal 2 mortal wounds instead of the damage 2 attack. This one is good, because your opponent can't make a saving throw, unless he has some kind of a feel no pain ability. But all in all, I think this one is worse than the Power Fist. If I would have to choose, probably I would choose between the Power Fist, the Power Weapon, or the Astartes Chainsword. Okay, and let's check on their ability. Objective secured. If you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase, and this unit is within range of that objective marker, then that objective marker remains under your control, even if you have no models within range of that objective. You only lose control if your opponent controls it at the start or the end of any phase. So call it sticky objective. This one is nice and very useful, because as Space Marines, sometimes you don't have enough models or units to stand on every objective that you have. So 1 or 2 5-man unit of Intercessor squad is really great to have. At least one unit of these guys can be a really great help. Okay, let's go to the next one. Hounds of Morkai. 5 models, 490 points. These guys are somewhat interesting. They are something of a scout, infiltrator, anti-psyker unit who prefers to be in combat or scare enemy units with their appearance. What do you have to know about these guys? These guys has the basic Marine stat line. However, their weapons and abilities are a little bit different. Each of them are equipped with Morkai Bolt Pistol and Morkai Combat Knife. Let's check on these weapons, why are they so special. Morkai Bolt Pistol is basically a normal bolt pistol, however with 1 point of extra armor penetration and with 3 extra rules. Morkai Bolt Pistol, range of 12, 1 shot, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 4, 1 points of armor penetration and damage 1. This weapon is anti-psyker 4+, which means if you are shooting at a psyker, you will wound them on a 4+, even if their toughness are much higher. It also has the ability of devastating wounds. Devastating wounds change a little bit since the last update. Now it means that your opponent can't make any kind of saving throws, like armor save or invulnerable save. This happens when you roll a critical wound. But don't forget, thanks to the anti-psyker 4+, against psykers, this triggers on a 4+. So if you see here Magnus and you shoot at him, you will damage him on a 4+, and he can't make a saving throw. That's a nice combination. Other than that, this has the keyword of pistol, so you can shoot it even if you are in melee combat, and has the ability of precision, so you can target characters if you see them. It's nice to have. And the other weapon option, Morkai Combat Knife. This weapon has 4 attacks, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. This weapon is also anti-psyker 4+, it also has the devastating wounds and the precision ability. So yeah, if there is a psyker, they really want to kill him. Okay, let's check on their abilities. Scout 6. So before the game starts, but after you've decided who will start the game, they can move up to 6 inches. It's a nice to have, you can use it either aggressively or if you are not starting the game, you can hide them. It's a nice to have. Okay, and their other ability. Morkai's Howl. In your shooting phase, you can select one enemy unit within 12 inches from them. One quick thing to note, if you have a Reaver Lieutenant and that one is leading this unit, then this ability's range is 18, so 50% plus. Nice. Okay, back to the ability. When you selected the target must take a battle shock test. And if the unit has the Psyker keyword, then they have to subtract 1 from the battle shock test. If the test is failed, the unit not just becomes battle shocked, they also becomes stunned until the start of your next shooting phase. Which means when the stunned unit is trying to make a psychic attack, they have to subtract 1 from their hit rolls. Again, nice anti-psyker stuff. Also, this unit have a 6+ invulnerable save, and this invulnerable save is a 4+ against psychic attacks. Yeah, they really hate magic. Okay, but if you don't want to build the Hounds of Morkai, you are also able to build a Reaver Squad. 5 models for 85 points. Their basic stat lines are the same, but their weapon options, loadouts and abilities are different. But now let's check out first their ranged weapons. Bolt Carbine. This weapon has the ability of precision, it has the range of 24, it has 2 attacks, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1. This is basically a bolter that allows you to target characters. It is okay. The other weapon option, Specialist Shoe Bolt Pistol. This weapon is a pistol and it has the ability of precision. It has the range of 12, 1 shot, hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 4, 1 points of armor penetration and damage 1. A better bolt pistol that can target characters. If you pick up the Bolt Carbine, then they have close combat weapons. Which means each model has 3 attacks, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1. If you don't want the Bolt Carbine, you are able to switch out the close combat weapon to a Combat Knife. Combat Knife has the ability of precision, so it can target characters. It has 4 attacks, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration and damage 1. In either case, you can keep the Special Issue Bolt Pistol. In case of a Sergeant, you are also able to pick up the Bolt Carbine and the Combat Knife too. So pick your poison. Although I prefer the Bolt Carbine. It has longer range, more shots, so more options. Okay, and let's check out their abilities. They have the Scout 6 ability, which means before the game starts, but after you decided who will start, this unit can move up to 6 inches, which you can use aggressively or defensively. So move forward if you start the game, or hide them if you're going second. Other than that, they have 2 abilities. One of them is Fearsome Assault. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit that is within engagement range with these guys must take a battle shock test. And the other ability, Terror Troops. While the enemy unit is within 6 of these guys, each time when that unit takes a battle shock test or a leadership test, that unit have to subtract 1 from their tests. It's nice, they complement each other. Other than this, They have two types of war gear abilities, which makes them even better. First one, Grapnel Launcher. Each time when a barrier's unit makes a normal move, advance, fallback or charge move, they can ignore any vertical distance that has to be moved during that movement, so they can Batman up and down and reach targets that are in a hard to reach place. And the other war gear, River Gravel Shoot. Basically, this unit also gains the ability to deep strike, which means you can put them into reinforcements and you can bring them in anywhere on the board, but at least more than 6 inches horizontally to your opponent's units. So they are really great to catch a character in the open or hunt down some lone operatives. All in all, between the Hounds of Morkai or the Reverse Squad, I prefer the Reverse. However, this one is an unpopular opinion, so take it as you will. And let's check on the last one, the big one. Invictor Tactical Warsuit. One model for 150 points. This unit is a really interesting one. He wants to be a Dreadnought, but also wants to be some kind of a fast attack option, and he got stuck between. For better or worse, it's for you to decide. But let's check on his abilities, statistics and war gear. This unit is not very fast. It has a lot of wounds and a good objective control characteristic. However, its toughness is really low for a vehicle, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, he isn't bad, but it's more of a high risk, high reward unit. If you use him well, he can win you the game. If you use him badly, you just lost an expensive unit. So take it as you will. But probably on the first try, he will go down surprisingly quickly, or will win you the game, depending on your rolls. Let's check out his weapon options first. And after that, we will talk about his abilities. First one, Fragstorm Grenade Launcher. This weapon is blessed. So for every 5 models in the enemy unit, you can add one to the attacks. It has a range of 18. It has D6 attacks, plus the attacks from the blast. Hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. A good close range weapon against infantry units and smaller targets. But be careful, because it's blessed, you can shoot it into the unit that you are in melee with. Other than this unit has a heavy bolter on the hip like a pistol. I think it's really cool. Like a Space Marine exoskeleton cowboy thing. But still, it's really great. It has the ability of sustained hits 1. So if you roll a hit roll of 6, you score 1 additional hit. Nice. It has a range of 36 with 3 shots, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 5, 1 points of armor penetration, and damage 2. Other than that, it has a Twin Iron Hail Heavy Stabber. This weapon has a range of 36. It has 3 attacks, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 4, 0 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. But this weapon has the ability of Rapid Fire 3, which means if your target is within 18, so the half of the 36, you can add 3 extra shots to this weapon. So it has 6 shots in close range. And other than that, this weapon is twin-linked, so you are able to reroll the wound rolls, which is a nice damage bump. Okay, and you can choose between 2 types of big cannons. The first one, Incendium Cannon. This weapon is basically a big flamer. It ignores cover and automatically hitting the target, so you don't have to roll hit roll. But its range is short. It has the range of 12. It has D6 plus 3 attacks, so between 9 and 4. It has a strength of 6, 1 points of armor penetration, and damage 1. It's really great to clear out big blobs of small infantry, like Thermogans, Imperial Guard, Chaos Cultists, and things like that. Your other option is the Twin Iron Hail Autocannon. This is the one that I like. It has the range of 48, with 3 shots, hitting on a 3+, with the strength of 9, 1 points of armor penetration, and a hefty damage 3. This weapon's strength and armor penetration is a little bit low to cause any serious damage to tanks or the biggest monsters. However, with the twinlings, you can tear out chunks of them. And even better, this weapon is ideal to one-shot the biggest infantry units or even bikers. So it's a nice to have weapon with a good range, can help out everywhere on the map. So nice. Other than that, this unit has an incredible melee. I mean, it's much stronger than it looks like. It has the Invictor Fist. With this weapon, it has 5 attacks, hitting on a 3+, with a strength of 14, 2 points of armor penetration, and damage 3. So yeah, it can pack a punch. But it's not just a weapon platform, it also has abilities. About the core abilities, this model has of Deadly Demise D3. So when it dies, you roll a D6 and on a 6 it explodes and deal D3 mortal wounds anything within 6 inches of him. So be careful and do not let him to blow up in your lines. Other than that, it has the ability of Scout 8, which is the same as in case of the Reverse, but the Tactical Warsuit can move up to 8 inches, which is a little bit longer. Usually I would recommend it if you are not starting the game. don't use this movement aggressively. Hide it. Behind the building, behind trees, or something like that. If you start the game, use it as aggressively as you can. In best case scenario, even you can make a first turn charge. Or you can hide him somewhat, but still be able to shoot. Once he gets shot at by anti-tank weaponry, well, he will not belong to this world. Okay, and one of the last abilities, Combat Support. Once per turn, when your opponent is shooting at one of your friendly Adeptus Astartes Phobos infantry within 6 of this model, then you can use this ability and you can shoot as if it were your shooting phase. However, you can only shoot at that unit that shot the Phobos infantry. And you can only shoot at them if they are an eligible target. So it's not really great to take down a lone operative, but still good to help out your battle brothers. The setting in this box set, only the Hounds of Morkai or the Reavers are Phobos units, so not the greatest of synergies, but neither the worst. Okay, this was the Combat Patrol Space Wolf box set. What are my thoughts on this box set? Well, the Lieutenant is great. He is one of the greatest support units that you can have for cheap. The Intercessors. They are not the most interesting units, however, they are really useful, with the sticky objective thing, so it's never hurt to have them. My thoughts on the Hounds of Morkai or Reavers. Well, they looking great, but they are not the greatest addition to any armies. This 5-man squad is probably the most that you will use. Still, I prefer the Reavers because it's a cheap scout and deep strike unit that can target characters. However, the Hounds of Morkai are not bad either, but they are mostly good against Psyker units. And the last one, the Invictor Tactical Warsuit. To be honest, I love this model. This one looks great, it has a lot of weapons and a really good melee punch. However, the sad thing is that its toughness and defensive profiles are really low. So against heavier weaponry, it will die. Probably if you have 2 or 3 of these guys, they can make a really great shock assault in the first turn. However, to make them count, you have to use them really carefully. And that needs some practice. So, if you are the type of player that got easily discouraged, probably this box set is not for you. I'm not saying this box set is bad. However, it has an interesting and not too easy playstyle. This one is not a bad pick, however it's not as safe as the Dark Angels one. But stay on the lookout, because soon we will have the Space Marine Codex, and probably there will be some kind of detachment for the Invictor and for these Phobos units. So it can be good. So in the short version, the Lieutenant and the Intercessors are really great and cool. With the Reavers, Hounds of Morkai or Invictor Tactical Warsuit, you can get the taste of something of a commando, scouting movement, deep strike, tricky stuff, but they are not the easiest to use. So picking up this box set can be a challenge, but if you like it, then do it. It's not bad, just not that easy. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you for watching and listening. If you like what I do, please consider liking, subscribing, or both, or even hit the little bell. If you don't hit the little bell, well, I will probably upload a video on each week. I hope I see you in the next one. See ya, bye.